Hello and welcome. My name is Ajaxpost and you've joined me today for the March 2020 channel update. And yay! It's spring! Well, the meteorological spring at least, which started on the 1st of March. I know that because because it had occurred to me actually when I started recording this and realised I wasn't entirely certain. It was something that popped into my head, so I just quickly checked into Google, had a quick little searchy poo, and there it was. Yeah, the vernal. That sounds a bit rude, actually, doesn't it? The vernal, the equinox, the spring equinox is actually later in March, but that's for people who believe in astronomy and stuff. Actually, astronomy is real, isn't it? Shall I stop waffling and get on with the actual important information for this update? Yes, let's do that. First off, of course, more stuff that you're probably not terribly interested in, but it just gives me a way of saying thank you to you for watching my videos, for commenting, for liking, and even more so for subscribing to the channel. In February 2020, we have finally achieved the 125,000 views. Yes! I really should get myself a sound effect for sort of the ta-da, the sort of celebratory trumpet horn or popping of champagne corks or something. I don't know. Yes, yeah. In the last update, I think I said 125,000 hours, which was completely wrong. But I have got this number right now. So yes, thank you so much for all those views. It's taken me a while to get there, but what the heck, it counts. And also in February we achieved 3,000 likes, which is quite impressive actually. So once again, thank you for that. We're currently standing at 667 subscribers, which is a nice number, though I always get a bit worried when it sits on that 666 number, because I really am not the devil. I really am a nice guy, probably. No, honestly, I really am. Honestly, I am. Yes, trust me on that. Yeah, so in February, just more silly stats for you. We achieved actually for the month itself just over 10,000 views, just over 1,000 hours of watch time, and we gained 43 new subscribers. We actually lost a few, about half a dozen I think in all throughout the month, who sort of came and then went or whatever they do. But for those of you that have recently joined, thank you so much for coming along. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your time with the channel. And now, what about the games we're playing? What about the actual content of the channel? Let's have a quick trolley through that. Transport Fever 2, the big series on the channel, which is my second attempt at the Bristol map. That's going very nicely, and that will continue for a little bit yet at least. Though I do have one slight concern about it, which you may have noticed in the last few episodes, is I am raking in money like nobody's business. It is ridiculously profitable, which is nice because it means I should be able to build and upgrade and create a fabulous looking network of trains very easily, very quickly, without too much concern about going bankrupt and stuff. But I'll probably achieve that by the early 1900s, if not before. Which sort of negates the whole point of the game really, because you do like it to run throughout all the years that you possibly can. Unfortunately, when I restarted this map, I suspect I actually left it on the default easy setting which the map was created with, rather than correcting it to medium, which is how I usually like to play games, as I did on the Bristol 1, the first attempt at this series, which, as you may recall, failed utterly because I just didn't understand how the cities worked. As someone commented on a video a little while ago, it might be nice to try it on hard mode, because it looks as if Transport Fever 2 does have a simpler and easier way of earning money. It seems to be easier to do it than it was in Transport Fever 1. So there may well be a second Transport Fever 2 series coming up before too long. If that's what you'd like to see, if you have any thoughts or ideas, suggestions for what that could be, do let me know. Drop them into the comments box below for this video, or indeed any of my other Transport Fever 2 videos. It'd be great to hear your thoughts on that idea. Another brick in the mall, another game that we're playing quite regularly on the channel for quite a few episodes now. that's going to carry on for a little bit too. I'm still enjoying that. I'm still making just enough money to keep going and build new things without getting too carried away. But I think we're getting now into more interesting times in the mall in terms of research and opening it up to hundreds and thousands of customers. So we'll carry on to that and see how well I cope with creating a very big and busy mall. Computer Tycoon, a game that I've now created 2 series for, is doing very nicely, but as you'll have noticed in the last couple of episodes, I really have got the competition beat. Now this could be in part because I started the game again on easy mode, because the mechanics of the game, the way it worked, changed quite dramatically from the previous version of the game, which when it first came into early access. So this is kind of the first. There's a big update to it at the end of last year, and it changed a few of the rules for how things worked. And I took a while, and I struggled to get to understand those. So I'm playing on easy, but I'm not sure that's the big issue with the game at the moment. I have a suspicion that the AI is somewhat unbalanced and it's not competing aggressively enough with the player. So what I'm going to do is we're going to have one more episode of Computer Tycoon, and we'll call a halt to it for the moment. And I will then either have another crack at it using a more difficult setting, or we may wait till the next big update from Andrash, the developer of the game. So again, your thoughts on that be much appreciated, but that one will come to a halt in the next week or so, which gives me room for another game in the portfolio. More on that a little bit later. And next up is Academia School Simulator. Really enjoying this, but since the last big update to the game, and I suspect it was due to something they changed in that, the food fight update, which I think was 2 episodes ago now, it really has increased the impact of hygiene within the school to such an extent that if you've watched the videos, you'll have seen me really struggling to keep the school clean. And if the school isn't clean, then students just leave, and they've been leaving in droves. And what that means is you don't earn money for their attendance, and you eventually get into a situation where you simply cannot make enough money to employ the staff, to keep the school running, to keep the students actually engaged and taught and all the rest of it. So you enter something like a death spiral, as it were, and you just become unmanageable. I have played on another full year of the game, in fact, since the last episode, just to see if there's some trick I was missing. And I suspect there must be some route you can go which allows you to better manage the costs and also things like the cleanliness within the school. I just haven't learnt them yet. So I'm actually in a discussion with the developers at the moment on the forums to see if there's just something I'm totally misunderstanding and not getting my head around about the game, or if there is actually an issue with it in terms of how the janitors work in particular, and how the hygiene of the school is calculated. So that one may also be coming to a close as of now, in fact, but I will do at least one more episode of it just to wrap up what we've got so far. They are continuing to work on it. We're seeing quite regular updates to the game, so if there is an issue with it, and it's not just me being a plank and not understanding it, then I'm sure we'll get that fixed, and I then hope to return to the game and create a much longer lasting school, because it really is a nice game to play. Okay, so we have got at least one series coming to a halt this month, more likely 2 series that are going to halt, which means I've got time on my calendar to schedule in some more games to play. And one of those is going to be a returnee. We're going back to Sim Airport. Yes! I really enjoyed that game, and I know that quite a few of you did when I played it throughout last summer, basically into autumn. It went on for about 20 episodes or so. Really nice game. Again, a game that sort of eases you into the difficulty level and then cranks it up, but does give you enough information and data to allow you to control it and keep everything running smoothly, unless you are being totally bizarre and bonkers and mess it all up. So I love the way the game works, the way it looks, the way it sounds. I like the whole thing. It was released, finally it came out of early access on, I think, the 29th of February. So leap year, really nice date selection. So that will be coming back. You may recall, if you watched the last series, I was promising to play it again, but using a real airport as the basis for my new game, for the new series. And that's what I plan to do. There's also another transport-oriented game which I've picked up and looked at, so I might include a little bit on that as well in the next few weeks. But what I'd like to try and get into my schedule is the occasional special. Now, I've noticed over the last couple of months, the videos that come out sort of top of the watch time charts for my channel are the tutorial-based videos, which is basically how YouTube works anyway. YouTube is a great source of information and tutorials and knowledge, and that's the kind of content that a lot of people, particularly gamers and that sort of user, really look for on YouTube. So I'm thinking I will try and produce a couple more sort of tutorial-y type things or informational type videos which you can easily digest. They don't last the 30, 40, 50 minutes of my normal Let's Play. And I'll see if we can do this. Again, if that's something that appeals to you, if that's something you'd like to see, or if there's any particular types of tutorial, any aspects of a game that I'm playing that you'd like me to attempt to explain, this is kind of on the assumption that I understand how it works as well, then by all means, please do let me know in the comments below. It'd be great to hear your input on that as well. So that's it. So we're going to be losing 2 games, I think, in the month of March. Transport Fever 2 and Another Brick in the Wall will be continuing, I imagine, for at least the whole of March, unless something really bizarre happens. And we're going to have one new game, Sim Airport, and possibly another, or perhaps the odd special video, the odd specialist, the odd tutorial, the oddity. I really should use a better word for it, but the odd oddity coming into the schedule, into the calendar every now and then throughout this month. And that's it for me. Thank you so much for joining me today. Hope you've enjoyed this little update on the channel. Thank you once again for your continued support. It really does mean a great deal, and I'm so appreciative and humbled by your very kind and gracious support. But from me, Ajaxpost, until the next time, I'll see you again soon. Bye bye for now.